The worlds of sports, fitness and strength training are full of myths that refuses to die, persisting year after year. We could list dozens of them, they seem impossible to get rid of, but today I will focus on three major ones. I will debunk them properly and replace them with solid knowledge. And given the sheer number of myths still out there, I think I'm already set for a second video. Let's dive in. Myth number 1. Women should not lift weights or they will become manly and bulky. This statement is not only completely false but also uninteresting in every way. Let's start with the basics. Lifting weights cannot make you bulky by accident. Visible muscle growth requires months, if not years, of consistent training, well-structured diet and healthy lifestyle. People who achieve significant muscle gains dedicate themselves fully to the process for years before reaching their physique goals. So, the idea that you might suddenly wake up looking like a bodybuilder just because you lifted some weights is absurd. Avoiding strength training because you're afraid of getting too big is like refusing to drive a car because you're worried about becoming a NASCAR driver. Moreover, women's physiology differs from men's, especially in terms of hormones. As a result, muscle growth occurs differently between the two sexes. Yes, women can build significant muscle, but even at a high level, their physique will remain distinct from men's. Now I get it. Extreme bodybuilding physiques are often associated with men, but it doesn't mean that muscles are reserved for men. As we just established, you won't become too big by accident, but to any woman watching this video, if your goal is to build as much muscle as possible, please go for it. And if you just want to develop a toned and athletic physique, know that most muscular women have defined curvy figures that most people find attractive. They don't suddenly transform into a ironical man look-alike. Let's take this a step further. If you compare professional male and female bodybuilders, the difference is immediately obvious. So this myth is mostly pushed by people who have no physique themselves and feel insecure when other people achieve their goals. Let's also point out the hypocrisy. If a muscular woman looks like a man, does that mean a man with no visible muscle looks like a woman? It makes no sense. Liking or disliking muscular bodies is a matter of personal taste, and that's okay. But using personal preference as an excuse to belittle other people's hard work is pure ignorance and disrespect, and that is not okay. And to wrap up this topic, strength training isn't just about muscle growth. It's a powerful tool for fat loss, body shaping, and improving overall fitness. It enhances strength, power, explosiveness, endurance, and general well-being. So, ladies, if you want to lift weights, whether for aesthetic, strength, or health, find a knowledgeable coach or learn by yourself and go for it without fears. And if you still have doubts, which is understandable, seek advice from women who actually train. Whether in your gym or on social media, find someone whose physique inspires you and who's willing to talk, obviously, and ask about her experience. More often than not, she'll be happy to share her insights and reassure you. You can be a very dedicated lifter, male or female, and not end up looking like a steroid-fueled bodybuilder. Myth number 2, supplements are essential and/or dangerous. Neither of these statements is true. Let me explain. If you have basic understanding of nutrition, you know that an athlete's diet is built primarily around caloric intake and macronutrients. Most supplements, such as protein powders or gainers, are simply food substitutes. Drinking a protein shake will give you the same amount of protein you could get from a steak or a can of tuna. Supplements don't offer anything magical that you could not find in whole foods, they're just a convenient alternative. For example, a shake can be consumed in seconds even when you're not hungry, which can be useful for athletes with high caloric needs. Supplements can be beneficial for high-level athletes, but let's be clear, you don't have to take them. And as for the idea that they're dangerous, understand this. Sports and fitness are industries, just like any other. This means they work under the same rules as other businesses. There are products to create, market, and sell. Some companies prioritize quality while others cut corners to offer cheaper products. And most of the time, quality comes with a price. So of course, consuming massive amounts of low-quality supplements could cause issues, but the same applies to any low-quality food. If you eat excessive amount of low-quality food, you increase your health risks, right? The same logic applies here. To avoid bad products, consult a trustworthy coach or nutritionist, but be mindful of potential conflict of interest. Some coaches have affiliations with supplement brands. You can also look for certification labels such as CreaPure for creatine to ensure product quality. Ultimately, supplements should be used wisely, and if you're unsure, seek guidance from a sports nutritionist rather than blindly following marketing claims. Myth number 3, carbs make you fat. Alright, let's set this straight. Your body weight is determined by your caloric balance, calories in versus calories out. The 3 macronutrients that provide those calories are proteins, carbs, and fats. 1 gram of protein equals 4 calories. 1 gram of carbs equals 4 calories as well, and 1 gram of fat equals 9. Quite literally, carbs don't make you gain fat any more than protein does, and technically they have less than half the caloric density of fats. So where does this myth come from? First, when people talk about gaining weight, they often mean fat gain, not muscle. And since protein is associated with muscle building, people assume it does not contribute to fat gain, which is not true. Carbs also play a crucial role in the body, mainly as an energy source. Second, carb-heavy foods such as rice, pasta, or potatoes are often consumed in larger amounts than protein sources like meat or fish. When dieting, people typically reduce carbs first to maintain muscle mass, which reinforces the misconception that carbs alone are responsible for fat gain. Adding to this confusion is the fact that most diets include more carbs than proteins. This is completely normal most of the time, but because people associate cutting carbs with weight loss, they mistakenly believe that carbs are inherently fattening. They are not. It all comes down to total caloric intake. I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, suggestions, or anything else, you can drop a comment down below, and if you'd like to work or chat with me, you can go through my socials in the descriptions of the video. I'll see you next Sunday, and with that, train well, stay consistent, and never forget, make yourself proud.